This is Morgan Hazelwood, back again with more writing tips and writerly musings. This week, I'm here to share with you my 5 biggest misconceptions about submitting a short story. This past weekend, I did something I've only done once before in my life. I submitted a short story to a publisher. Dun dun dun. I think my biggest surprise was how unlike querying an agent it was. First off, there are no query letters. I knew you didn't need a pitch like a novel manuscript. I'd done some research, but my single short story query was a while ago through an online form. So when prepping my cover letter, I reached out to my fellow Subbit Club members to get a quick evaluation of what I'd come up with. And I had too much. Why, you ask? Well, my second misconception. Cover letters aren't actually like a picture book query. Who knew? I'd cut my standard query letter down to what I thought was a cover letter, just a quick pitch, story stats, and then because they'd given me 100 words for a biography, I exchanged my standard 34-word bio for my blog bio. Because I wasn't pitching the YA novel community, I cut out the part about being part of the Pitch Wars community because it's not relevant in the short story market. And about that time is when I heard back from a friend in the Subbit Club group. She's written and published short stories, and she's been an editor on an anthology for short stories. So she's been on both sides of the screen. I don't know where that analogy was going. And apparently, unless they ask for it, you don't even need the one-line pitch. According to the link my friend gave me, I'm sharing it below, a short story cover letter, if they don't ask for a longer bio, can be as basic as, "Dear editor, please consider title, parentheses, horror, 2,000 words, any place you've been published, any relevant degrees. Thank you. Sincerely, name, website." And then you include the story. That's it. That's it. You don't have to be creative. You don't have to be clever. Here's the facts, ma'am. Bye-bye. And call me. So my third misconception is that most publishers do not like simultaneous submissions. Agents these days expect you to query multiple agents simultaneously, just not within the same agency. They occasionally ask for an exclusive when requesting your full, but that's pretty rare, both the request and the exclusivity. But most of the markets I found to submit my short story to, they expect exclusivity and require it. And publishers talk. Do not play fast and loose and hope you don't get caught. They will blacklist you, and then where are you going to submit your next story to and your next story? You don't want to count yourself out for making an amateur mistake. Speaking of the market, my fourth misconception is that the market varies wildly. For fiction stories, you can get offers anywhere from "we find you worthy to share online" to hundreds of dollars for a story. Pay attention to where you're querying and what they can offer. SFWA, Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America, has a certified list of what they call professional rate magazines or publishers that are established and pay at least 6 cents per word. As a short story can be up to 7,500 words, you can get a couple $100 out of this. Depending on your story, many universities and colleges have their own magazines, some still even in print, not just digital. And there's levels of market that are like professional rate and almost professional rate and amateur and then fly-by-night places. So your publishing credits can vary based on those rates. And you want to make sure that you're submitting your story to places that you want to be associated with. For me, I went online and searched on https://thegrinder.diabolicalplots.com. I'll link it below, for places to submit to. I could filter on SFWA status, story length, genre, etc. I did not name the website, but once again, thegrinder.diabolicalplots.com. And you can track all of your short story submissions there. So it's a really handy site. It's like Query Tracker for short stories. But when I searched, all the markets that came back had very, very different requirements for how long of stories they were looking for, what format they wanted my story in, when they were open to submissions. Some were always open, and some were open twice a year for like 3 weeks. And they all varied very much in how quickly they'll respond. One place said 2 weeks. One place said, we want to reply within 6 months, but we're kind of behind that target right now and embarrassed about it. So when you're getting ready to submit, especially if it's an exclusive place, you want to make sure you're paying attention to what order you're setting yourself up to submit them. Because you don't want to be sitting on your thumbs when a submission window for a different place is about to close, if that place is open longer, etc. You want to stagger them based on the calendar. And maybe the pay rate, There's a lot of factors to think about when querying a short story that you just don't know about when querying agents. Submitting short stories, querying agents, very different things. And finally, the fifth thing that startled me was reprints are fine. I mean, okay, I knew this somewhat. Short story rights are often granted for a short period of time, a year, maybe 5, and then the rights revert to you. Many of the markets are, this is the part that surprised me, happy to pay up to the same rates for reprints that they do for new stuff, which means you can make just as much money off stuff you've already sold as new stuff, provided you wait for it to come back to you. You just got to pay attention to when those dates are. So just like a novelist making money off their backlist, so too can short story writers. And that's it. It was fun to write something short that I could polish and share in mere weeks, as opposed to this novel I've been obsessing over for a few years now. Between the short story and this month's poetry challenge, I think I'm almost warmed up for NaNoWriMo. Anything big I missed in this post? Do you write short stories? Tell me about your experiences below. And for those of you who were watching last week, P.S. I have an update. I heard back from World Fantasy Con. Now, they didn't go with any of my panel suggestions, but as of today, according to the schedule, on Saturday, November 3rd at 5 p.m., I will be in the Homeland Room participating in the panel on Talking the Talk, audiobooks from Fantasy Works, with Guy Gavriel, Kay, Greg Tremblay, and Simon Vance. So let's cue some nerves, some excitement, and a moderate amount of imposter syndrome here. Please wish me luck. And let me know if you're going to be at World Fantasy Con. I'd love to meet up with people who tune in and listen to me babble about writing and talk about writing in person. That would kind of be fun. So as always, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe.
And that's all for today. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button and share it with all your friends. It goes a long way towards helping people find me. And I'll be back again next Monday with more writing tips and writerly musings. Bye-bye.